going to learn how to use SolidWorks sketching today as a tool to calculate force vectors. We're going to use the classic block sliding down an incline today, but this tool can be used in any kind of mechanism where you want to calculate force vectors. The great thing about using the SolidWorks sketch is because it's visual, it's a lot easier for people to see. Whereas you could work out the math by hand or maybe in a spreadsheet, but it becomes a little more tedious, and just the visual nature of doing it this way is really useful. So let's get started here. I've got a block that is on an incline, and I have some sketches here. This sketch right here signifies the force due to gravity, and then it's broken out into its component vectors. So this would be the normal force, or this would be the force sliding the block down the incline, down the ramp. And so why don't we go ahead and put some dimensions in here. Why don't we just add that one. So we'll say the incline starts off at 15 degrees. We're going to put a dimension here on the force due to gravity, and here's where it gets interesting. Technically this is a distance because we're in a sketch and sketches give you distances, but we're going to think about this as a force, not a distance. So yeah, it says 5 inches in there, but let's think about that as 5 pounds because ultimately we want to calculate force vectors. So I'm going to accept that. So we've got 5 pounds of force of this block on the ramp due to gravity, and then we can easily put in our component force vectors. We don't have to calculate the cosine or the sine of any of these. We just click and accept because SolidWorks does the math for us, and that's one of the huge advantages of doing it this way. So we've got our force vector 5 pounds, and we've got our component force vectors here, and now we want to know, well, is this block going to slide down the ramp or not? And to do that, we use another little trick. First of all, we're going to need to know what is the coefficient of friction here. So we're just going to sketch in a little line segment here. And the only thing that line segment is going to do is serve as an area that we can define our coefficient of friction. So we're going to select accept, and we're going to put in 0.25 here and say that 0.25 is our coefficient of friction. So we'll come in here and we'll type in coefficient of friction equals 0.25. And now we're going to put another line in here, and this line is going to end up representing the resistance to the sliding force. And we're going to use an equation to define that. So we're going to say the resistance to the sliding force is going to equal the normal force, which is this component right here, multiplied by the coefficient of friction, which we have defined up here, and hit accept. Okay, and then we're going to come in and just type some words in there to make it clear. So this is resistance to sliding force equals that. Oh, I had both of them selected. Let's delete that. So this is coefficient of friction. And just to make this really clear, why don't we come back in and say resistance to sliding force, and then in parentheses we have normal force times coefficient of friction. Okay. Alright, so what this is telling us is that the resistance to the sliding force is 1.2, and remember we're in pounds now, not distance, this is pounds, 1.2 pounds of force. And if we look at our sliding force component of our force vector, we'll call this sliding force, and we might as well name this one normal force. So we see that our sliding force is 1.294 pounds, and our resistance to that is 1.207. So our resistance is less than our sliding force, thus this block will slide down the incline. Now, where this really gets powerful is what if we wanted to change a few things and see how that affected the system. So let's say instead of a coefficient of friction of 0.25, we're going to change this to 0.5. And sometimes the equations need a little bit of help updating. Oh, this one did it just fine. Sometimes I'll just double click in here and that will force the equation to update. So now we have a resistance of 2.4 pounds and our sliding force is still 1.29. So this block is not going to slide. If we could change some other things in here, why don't we go back to 0.25. And so now our resistance is less than our sliding force, but why don't we say just 10-degree incline instead of 15. And this is where we have to help it update a little bit. Okay, so now we've got 1.23 resistance and 0.87 of sliding force, so the block will no longer slide. And you can see that the sliding force updated automatically as well because it's driven by relationships here. And for example, if we wanted to make our force greater, maybe we make this 7.5. And then maybe, what else? Oh, now we have a sliding force that's 1.3, which is greater than 1.2, so now our block will slide down. So there are a lot of different ways that we could change this, and but the power is really in the fact that SolidWorks does all the math in the background, and the user gets to enjoy the visual nature of how these force vectors are sketched out. So this is just a great method of calculating force vectors, and this was a pretty simple example with our classic block on the incline, but it can be applied to much more sophisticated mechanisms as well.